Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? I'm back again with another Traders review. This is Traders Season 4, Episode 4 and 5. It's another review, audio review, so you will not see my face. But hey, I'm still gonna give you a good content. Let me tell y'all. Maybe this last 2 episodes got people on the internet and the social media up in the uproar about Tiffany elimination, Tiffany getting banished, about Michael comment towards Colton, the whole who saw all you on. That's why I said plenty of things happen. Who saw all you on with these recent episodes? Me, Mizzle, I'm on nobody's side because at the end of the day, you gotta think about this. Traders is a reality TV competition show. It's a competition game show, meaning that it's a prize at the end. And the point of the game is to weed out the traders so the faithfuls at the end can win the prize pot. If the traders is left at the end of the social experiment game, then the traders go take it all. So the whole concept of the goal is to get the traders out. Stop with the already preconceived notions of the people who they are. That's why I love when it's all civilian cast, because we don't know these people. Because the concept of the show and how the show is created and what it's about creates the drama itself. You don't need no forced drama or over-the-top people, over-the-top personalities playing the game, or people from other reality shows to come in this game to play the game how they was in Big Brother or Survivor or whatever other shows you're talking about. No, this show drives on its own drama because of the concept of what the show is about. And people look at traders in that way instead of looking at it as just another reality TV drama show that will big personalities stay and boring people should go and whatnot to make it to the end because you like this person, or this person should stay because you like them. No. The person stay or not because they get banished or murdered. And if you play the game well or you're playing not the game well, it is what it is. The traders are doing their job because they eliminated people to eliminate to the end. The faithfuls got to step up and do their job and start weeding out and looking at the traders instead of going after people that they dislike. It's not a popularity contest. So I need people to stop looking at this show so hard and stop bringing the show down because you coming over to the traders because you see the people on other shows, you want to come over, and because you like them, then they deserve to stay and whatnot. And no, at the end of the day, the traders, Candace, Rob, and Lisa are doing a good job because they sticking to each other. They fly on the radar, or people not suspect them. Now, recently, people all suspecting Lisa a little bit, but nobody respected Rob or Candace yet. Despite how Candace being talkative and defending people and doing her, she are completely in other people's eyes unfaithful. Nobody's questioned her yet. So for everybody make it seem like, oh, she doing the most, she could be found out. No, she ain't gonna be found out yet. She playing a good game so far. Her Rob is doing. Now Lisa, on the other hand, is getting some heat. So hopefully we will see how they spin it so they can get the heat off of her or whatnot. I hope they have to be forced to vote her out. Because so far they all three have been doing a good job defending each other, protecting each other, telling each other what's happening and whatnot. So let's get into this episode. That's what I want people to say. Like, yes, you can have your opinions and everything, but no have this heavy discourse on social media about things. And when at the end of the day, the concept of the show and what it is. If people gonna get voted out, that's the name of the show. People gonna get voted out. So you want them to start thinking things through and stop just eliminating their own under the whim. Yes, that's what we want the faithfuls to do. But so fortunately, a lot of this shows, the faithfuls are really not that great sometimes. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And most of the traitors reiterations on the US, the UK, Australia, the New Zealand, or any other traitors that's out there. Usually the faithfuls may not get it all the time. They always going at each other. Because it's always out of the whim or personalities and this and that, not knowing to play the concept of the game. So it continued on from last week because they had the elimination, they had the competition mission where they was on the cages and whoever was safe will get protected. Whoever was unsafe was going home. So we don't know who they picked. So everybody had to say their pieces. Ron was going hard. So let me never see your face. And all that stuff. I said, boy, calm the hell down. Like, really, you do the most. So everybody's waiting and waiting and waiting. So next day, the breakfast. So people coming in. So Monet suggested that, you know what? We need to ask people some questions so we know what happened that night. So when we see everybody coming in, let's see if their stories align and matches up. If somebody's story's not matching up, then we can start realizing who could be a traitor. Or we're not. So Ron came first, and Ron survived. Everybody was like, oh, Ron, and everything. Because, at this point, people were still not on Ron's side because what he did to Portia. And let me tell y'all this about this Portia thing before we get on any further. Y'all need to stop acting like Ron was targeting Portia for just targeting Portia. At the end of the day, Portia Peach Juice did it to herself. If she was not going around and being loose in her mouth and make multiple slip-ups about her killing someone and whatnot, we would not even have this conversation. Whether or not Portia claiming that it was edited out wrong, and at the end of the day, he brought to the round tables because you said this. Because I don't think he would have brought it up together if you said, if I was a traitor, that's what I would think. I said, girl, at the end of the day, you wouldn't even think about saying that. You should say no. The traitors killed this person. Why we think they killed this person? What's the reason? Or so instead of saying, if I killed Ian and we killed this, I said, girl, you said it numerous times. So you brought that to yourself. So I also like, why are y'all going so hard about Ron about how he did with this Portia thing, where y'all behinds had to write her name down? So after that, y'all just kick yourself behind because kick yourself in the back because y'all put her name down. Y'all had to vote for her. Y'all could have went for somebody else. So I said, y'all gone a little too hard to get this with this Ron thing, and say with this Portia. Portia did it to herself, and she should not have done that. Now, because she don't remember what she's saying, she usually don't remember what she be saying. That's on her. But we're not gonna be sitting here acting like Ron was just a horrible person. Now, is he getting defensive and he getting like this and because everybody coming at them? And he said, listen, y'all want me gone, eliminate me. Because that's what I'm saying. If y'all want him gone, because y'all keep saying he is this person, we on him, then y'all had the opportunity to do so. But fortunately, he's still not going anywhere because y'all are voting other people out. If y'all want Ron out so badly, y'all could just stick to Ron and just vote him out. But he's still here. Because he's a shield. Because, it's good for the traders because people still focus on him. So we don't need to eliminate him yet until it furthers his purpose. So let him get banished instead of us murdering him. But he didn't get banished yet, y'all. So Ron survived. And he said he was tied to a tree. It was a henchman. The person had a black mask. He believed it was 3 people walking around the tree. And he was blindfolded. If you were not selected, you would get cut off from the tree, and then you have to run away or whatever, get escorted back to the castle. That's what he said. So Lisa came in next, and they asked Lisa what happened. Now Lisa said, oh, snap. Oh, they grilling me. They asking me questions. Now I better get this right because if I get this right, they're going to know that my gig is up. So Lisa is dramatic detail. She giving all these detailed, dramatic ways and how she is. It's like, oh my God, I was tied to the tree. Who tied you to the tree? I'm the henchman. The henchman tied to the tree. It was like this big round, the maple tree, and that was a blindfolded. It was a gold mask, like that. She said it was black, and then I had to turn the blindfold off, and they realized the henchman was in front of me, and it was with an axe, and then he cut the tree, cut the rope off, and I was free. And I would say, if y'all came to me, I would be faithful for y'all. I would be the most great faithful for you. If you let me go, if you let me survive, I would be the most faithful for you. And now he said, why would you say that? That would be some way reason for me to off you. But he said, listen, I had to plead my case. Let me know that I'm useful as a faithful. So somebody was questioning, they said, Ron did not mention the axe. You would think that would be a great important detail. Why we lived that out. He should remember the axe. So I said, oh yeah, he should remember that axe. So Eric came in, and Eric said he think it was 2 traitors, but then in the confession, he said he heard a laugh, and he's not going to say anything to anyone because he's going to hold that piece of information and bring it up to the round table when he gets a chance. So I said, okay, bring that up. Let's see how it goes. So they realized the traitors eliminated Caroline, another housewife. I said, ooh, y'all get at this housewife, huh? This is the second housewife Lisa had a hand in. Take it out. So they were saying, Caroline said, Rena, you bitch. I said, ooh. Strawberry. And they said, why you eliminate her? She said, Candace said, because you talk too much. Because you talk too much. But Caroline was really on Winner. She said, Winner, like, what's going on? But she was saying the question, she said, I thought the housewives supposed to stick together. Housewives usually does stick together. They're supposed to be, but whatever. This is the name of the game, traitors. So they would say they really wanted to get Caroline. It would kind of throw people off their scent and not put in their direction. So they would they went after another housewife. And then, Rena laughed a little bit. So that's why Eric said he heard a laugh. But I'm going to say my opinions about that laugh thing in a minute when we talk about that banishment table. So Krista survived. And Krista said she think it was like 3 or 4 traitors that circled around her tree. So Tiffany said she thinks that Vaughn, Jam, and Michael are traitors. Tiffany is hell-bent on that. She's been saying that for a while. That's his why she was coupling him with Michael so she could keep an eye on him and could think that Michael think that she wanted Michael to think that she trusts him, but no, she's basically grouping up with him and being close to him because she wanted to keep her own hot, close eye on him. So Tiffany talked to Kristen and told Kristen what she thought and who she think the traitors are. So she mentioned the names, Ron, Jam, and Michael. Now, Colton, at this point, Colton is trying to rally the troops. He said, tonight I'm going big, I'm swinging hard, and I'm going after Tiffany. I said, so why are you going after Tiffany? He said the reason why Tiffany was not so much of her suspicions is because she is strategizing and getting people off. And I said, it's kind of like what you're doing, right? She's trying to figure out who she thinks the traitors are. You try to figure out who you think the traitors are, and you coming off hard with your opinions, just like when she coming off hard with her opinion and who she thinks she is and her strategy. So you both got different strategy. You want to come after her, and she came after her doing her own strategy. Y'all both playing the games. That's what the point of the traitors are, right? That's the point of the traitors are. So if she coming on strong and think with her thinking strong opinions about who she thinks people are, you doing the same thing by coming on strong about Tiffany. So Monet mentioned that Colton is going after Tiffany. So Candace likes her. They was in a car at this time. So Candace liked Tiffany, and she was like, "Oh my God, Tiffany could be a good ally." So it was like her name is being thrown around. It's like it's not her time to go yet. So the mission 4 happening, and it said they had to set the effigies on fire. So it was 10 effigies on deck, and they had to go in the woods and find a spear. And once they find a spear, they had to burn the spear and stake it at the freaking effigy and burn the effigy. And also there's shields, right? So when they burn the effigy, they had to say the name out loud who shield they burn. If the shield get burned, that means that person in risk of being murdered. And they had 25 minutes to do the mission, and they had to break it into teams, and they were $20,000 to be the one if they were successful in the mission. So the teams were Michael, Natalie, and Steven, Colton, Kristen, and Mark, Candace, Eric, Lisa, and Monet, and the last team was Johnny, Lon, Tiffany, and Jam. So they was finding thing. They was finding spares, and each one by one saying their names. So the people who was at risk are Ron, Tiffany. Tiffany was pissed. She said, "Why my name was putting down? Why my name was putting down?" Right? Monet, Michael, Tara, Steven, Lisa, Maura, Johnny, and Jam. Now, when Jam heard his name, Jam started crying. I said, "Oh, what's going on?" Listen, at the end of the day, y'all, it's the game. It's nothing personal. But a lot of them take personal. A lot of them taking it personally. I said, "How dare you put my name down like I did something to you? Why my name is going in the freaking oh?" I said, "Ooh, child." So Monet was suspicious of Lisa. So Monet said Lisa name. He said he's suspicious of Lisa. He got my eye on her. So being that Candace is a traitor and her fellow traitor is Lisa. So Candace told Lisa Lena that Monet said her name. So now Lisa said, "Oh my gosh, what?" So basically now that person gotta go. So people still want Ron out. But now that Colton did this go full force on Tiffany, now things are scrambled. Like now, things is all over the place. Now we don't even know what's happening. So he going around trying to gather troops so they could go after Tiffany because of Tiffany's strong conviction towards who she thinks is the traitors are. And not suspicions, she has strong conviction. Right? To the banishment table. This is number 3. Colton went off right off the bat, saying, Tiffany, I'm coming after for you tonight. He was a little aggressive. I ain't gonna say he was a little assertive and aggressive with his manner and how he was going so hard, strongly for Tiffany. So Tiffany said, Dad, what the hell's going on here? So he said, you playing more strategy and not building suspicions. So Tiffany said, listen, Tiffany was so blindsided, she did not know that she was up. And her name was thrown out there to be eliminated. So she had to defend herself. And Tiffany did what she did and defend herself. She said, I'm smaller than you. I am definitely smaller than you. So she said she initially had Michael name as a traitor, but then she had Michael and Ron, and then she added Jam later. So Jam clapped back, and he wanted to defend himself at first, but she said, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to freaking Colton." But you said my name. I said yes, but I ain't talking to you. So I'm talking to Colton. And then when she added Jam, she said, "Oh, now I'm talking to you." He said, "Oh, well, I don't like how you said it like that, but I had to say." I said, "Oh well, because right now I'm agitated, I'm livid, and I'm gonna come off how I'm gonna come off." Because at the end of the day, I said, I don't know why y'all coming after me, because y'all gonna vote me up there, and I'm gonna tell you I'm a faithful, and y'all gonna be wrong again. So Vaughn thinks Maura is a traitor. So Maura was like, what? Because he said he had heard light steps. So Maura said, well, you lied about Portia. I said Vaughn didn't lie about Portia. Vaughn reported what Portia did, and Portia said that stuff. Point blank, period. Because if it wasn't Portia, it was somebody else, y'all would still felt the same way. If somebody would have said that out of their mouth numerous of times, not just one time, I gotta say you might slip up one time and say, you know what, it might be pause, and that's something to think about. But when you did that twice, girl, no. It was too many instances where you slipped up and said you killed someone when you did not. So at the end of the day, he did not lie about Portia. But people sticking to that Ron lied about Portia that got Portia out. I said, but y'all was the one that voted for Portia. If y'all did not believe Ron and y'all he had a convincing evidence, unfortunately she wasn't faithful, but at the end of the day, she messed up. Period. So Eric chimed in. This was Eric piece of evidence. He said he gave the plea to the traitors to keep him. Yada, yada, yada. But then he said he heard a laugh. So, Candace like, oh my God, Lisa chopped up and robbed. So they panned the cameras to Lisa, Candace, and Rob, because they're the traitors, so they want to see how they reacting to things. That's the editing, y'all. That's the editing. So all the facial expressions I think she having all that stuff that people are clocking in, people are probably not clocking that she's doing that facial expression at that moment. And at the end of the day, people going to react to the news they heard. The fact that Eric heard a laugh, that could be evidence. But then he said he is a 99% sure it was this person. And then when we come back, he said, "Oh, I'm 99% sure this person is you, Tiffany. It's Tiffany." Tiffany said, "What?" So then he said, "Musician. I know sounds and I'm really good and all that stuff like that. So Tiffany said, you need a new career because you are wrong. Now, Candace spoke up and she said the evidence that Eric presented to you, Tiffany, is compelling, but it's not strong enough than Ron. And she was sticking up for Tiffany a little bit. And Tiffany was crying because, she said, I need this money. It'd be perfect for me because my son is going to college soon and I'm a single mom. It'd be great to have this money. So, yes. So she hurt a little bit. Now, my thing with this musician and Eric, you said you heard a laugh. But how the hell are you 99% sure it was Tiffany? I feel like you was on this board, was on this riding train with Colton, and since Colton was riding hard for Tiffany, you used that and said it was Tiffany. Because I know you said at the breakfast table that you heard a laugh, and you ain't gonna say nothing until later on, and you had a suspicion of this person. So this laugh, you 100% know that it was a Tiffany laugh. I said, you could have said it was a female's laugh, so that let me know that at least one of the traders are a female. And instead of saying that, and I was saying, listen, everybody went with his expertise because he's a musician and not questioning it. If I would have said, I said, how you know for sure it's her? Because you would have to know each one of our laugh so greatly for you to distinguish that it's her laugh. If I was saying, listen, all the females, y'all laugh. Say, ha, 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 ha. And stuff like that. And see if he could hear, if he could pinpoint the laugh. Because I was like, that right there don't make no sense to think that it was Tiffany. Now, I know people going out there, throwing out there that it was racial motivated, how they targeted Tiffany. I don't think it was racial motivated, how they targeted her. I think it was a power play. I think Colton saw that Tiffany was a strong player. She had a strong strategy. She had a strong mind, a strong voice, like him. And he went after her because her strong personality and how she's playing this game. For him swinging so hard, you was bad so hard over because she had strategy. Like, you need to come up with more evidence than that. And then Eric, with his freaking, I'm a musician I know what I'm talking about, said that this laugh was 100%, 99% sure was Tiffany. I said, you got to give me something more than that. Like, I cannot just believe your words. I need some evidence that you know for sure. Like, how you know it was her for specific. That's the only thing I had an issue with. I said, nah. Everybody going with that evidence because evidence was compelling. For y'all to come to find out, Tiffany's getting voted out. Because Tiffany ended up garnishing 15 votes. Jam got 1 and Ron got 2. And, Candace was crying because she felt for her. Candace goes going to be Candace no matter what it is. Even though maybe her own detriment of her playing as a trainer sometime, maybe by her behind later on. But right now, she's doing a good job. And that's not else. She's defending people sometimes. That's her nature. She defends people. So she's faithful. So everybody said, oh my God. But I would say, y'all going to go after Eric hard like y'all going after Ron so hardly? That might not be the word. But whatever. It's going to be a word today. Because y'all were going after hard Ron. Hard body because of Portia went home. So you're going to do the same thing with Eric, with his freaking Miss Fire against Tiffany because of his ear, because he's a musician. He know that laugh is a Tiffany laugh. I was going to say, out of all the females, you know that was Tiffany. Get the fuck out of here. I was not buying that. So Michael talked to Kristen And he said he believed that Stephen Colton, and I think he said Rob, or the muscle traders, whatever he said, whatever word he said, because he believed they are traders because they are too swaggered. They are too swaggered out. I said, so what? That's your reason why you believe they're traders because they swaggered? Like at the end of the day, a lot of these people I don't know from other shows. So I don't have no background story of these people. I don't follow them on social media. I don't even know what they do, how problematic they are. The only people I really know from the shows I watched was Candace, Portia, Monet. I know Tyler Lipinski because I used to watch figure skating a lot, and I remember Tyler Lipinski as a figure skater. But other than that, I don't know her like that. Anyway, after that, like Dorinda from Housewife, yes. Caroline Stanberry from Housewife, okay. Rob for Love Island, yes. I don't remember more from Love Island and other similar people. So all these other people, I don't really know like that. So I don't have no backstory on any emotional ties to these people. So I wouldn't even go for his freaking expertise because he said that. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But him swagging out, I don't know that he said it like that, but people say that's how he is. He's problematic with his words. So they went ahead to murder Monet because they was like, because Monet was mentioning Lisa, and I don't think that nobody else heard Monet other than Candace says that he told that Candace about it. That got Monet to be eliminated. And at the end of the day, if the trader's game is to do that, that's the trader's game to do so. I know Monet was always a don't trust no B, especially they a housewife because you could tell them something, you trust them, they just stab out behind the back. But I said, but at the end of the day, y'all, this game is a competition. Whatever anything y'all say could be used against you, and you don't know who you talking to. That person could be a traitor. So if you mention someone that you got suspicions of, you have to understand that it may bite you. It may bite you in your behind later on if the person you told that information to is indeed a traitor. Because at this point, y'all don't know 100% who the traitors are. Y'all just grasping of straws and soaking up the air with nonsense. So Dorinda didn't know culture history. I didn't either. Now I go when we talk about that whole Michael and culture thing, I'm gonna say my piece about that. But people gotta understand, a lot of people who watch the show don't know these people past or what show they on and what they did. So we only watching based on the premises of the show, which is the all people are created equals until traders are selected. And this show is different from the shows y'all see them on. So y'all cannot base the show based on that. You have to think of this a separate game competition show and it's a social experiment. And you had to leave it as that. And once y'all think about that, y'all can leave all the other stuff alone. Because we don't know his coach, his past history, we didn't know that he was stalking someone or did all that stuff. According to him, he was on the Bachelor. He misled. He did tell her he was gay. He told her he was in the NFL. He was a football player, and then he was on the Bachelor, and he's gay. That's what he told us. So we going by that information. So when Michael made that comment later on, yes, that could be deemed as a homophobic comment. However, it doesn't take away the fact that Coulter could be a horrible person, and Coulter was doing the most. But also, we can understand what Michael was saying, and Michael commit what he said, and I believe he meant that comment. But also, I can feel like Coulter could take something like that and spin it more to what it is to make garner some sympathy. But we're gonna talk more about that. But I'm also gonna say we gotta understand that a lot of things could be happening at the same time. It could be true. So It's not about whose side you on. You guys just got to put all the puzzles and pieces together. But like I said all that to say, I'm going to explain more in a minute when I talk about that segment, is that we don't know the history. Or who these people are. So when people watch the shows and we give an opinion, don't jump on some people's back about what you know. Oh no, would you think that because this person is this and this person did that? I said, okay, that person still be a messed up individual. It doesn't take away the fact that a person said that comment and could offend the people. That's a lot of things can happen. One don't cancel out the other, y'all. Vaughn is sure that Michael and Devenda is the traitors. I don't know why he got Devenda in his name already. I think he said Devenda is different or whatever else like that. But he just targeted him in Devenda. So I said that now that could be a problematic because when he said reports were valid, but now this Devenda thing, I don't know about that. It just came out of nowhere. So Kristen believes it's Colton. And she know that Colton find Monet a threat. So Chris is animated because she said how he is, how he rallied the troops, and how he moving. It screams traitors. Now, we all know Coach is the faithful, but sometimes faithfuls could do a lot and be over assertive, aggressive in their approach of things and how they play the game, and that's their right. Because there's no right or wrong formula of how to play it. We may have some things, ideas how a traitor should be, because you don't want to get found out. But every trader plays the games differently, just like faithfuls play the game differently. And sometimes faithfuls doesn't play the game to their own benefit. Sometimes it hurts them. But we'll do that. Next is the mission number 5. They had to restore the fountain to the original states and push the lever, and the water comes out, they win. And it doesn't come out and one staff is out of place, they will not win the money. It's all or nothing kind of mission. They got $60,000 they can win for the prize pot. I forgot the last mission, they won $20,000. So they got to get the coin at the fountain. It will reveal the location, go to the location at the statue. Under each statue will be a shield. If you pick up the shield, you will be protected from murder. But if no one pick up the shield, then you will stop a murder from happening. So everybody said, oh my gosh, don't get a shield, don't get a shield. Everybody said, don't get a shield, don't get a shield, right? So they had to break up the groups. The groups were, the first group was Tara, Kristen, Maura, and Rob. Second group was Devenda, Natalie, Johnny, and Michael. Third group was Colton, Mark, Lisa, and Candace. And fourth group was Jam, Steven, Eric, and Ron. Right? So they were getting the statues, and everything. And it was up down to the last 2. The last 2 statues was the Labyrinth and the Riverbank. Each one of those locations under the statues have 4 shields. So they was debating where they get it. Now, Colton said I know he said with the group, no shields, but if he had to protect himself, he attempted to do so. So at the end of the whole mission, they ended up to be successful. They banked $16,000. So Alan said he won't reveal if anyone taking a shield until later on that night. He let you know. They said, of course he wouldn't tell us. I said, yes, it'd be too easy to tell us. Right? So Warren said Michael and Devenda are traitors in a room with Devenda and Steven talking. And she said, why are you saying me? Because she said, I'm trying to get to know you. I'm trying to get to know your family. You know, I'm trying to reciprocate and all that stuff like that. So what is it? I said, like Lauren said, like, it's a competition. I don't need to know you. And yes, y'all can be friendly and try to enjoy each other. But at the end of the day, if he don't want to divulge his personal information for the sake of the game, he don't have to. Just like you don't have to give up your information too. If you want to share your information because you want to share it, that's it. but it's not going to benefit you, or it's not going to, the information is getting from each other. It's not going to take away the purpose of the game, because the person you could talk to could be a trader or a faithful. And yes, you might build connections, but at the same time, you got to be wary. So I know I appreciate the window that says you want to open up and get to know people and at the personal level, and that's fine, that's great. But also you got to understand it's a game, and some people might be on game mode. They don't want to be doing all this extra stuff. Whatever. So Colton and Michael is going back and forth, because this is the kitchen. So Colton was talking to Michael, and I think Colton asked Michael to say, "Oh, when you're the turret, what clothes that Allie be wearing?" Because he'd be changing his clothes and everything. Now I think Michael's stunned for a little bit and would answer, but he said, "Oh, I see what's going on. I see what's going on." Because he said, "Oh." Now he said, well, "Why are you being flustered? All the other time you're not flustered, and you're not even caught off guard. This time you are. So what's going on?" So then that's when, when he backed him in the corner, Michael started getting loud and assertive and aggressive and say, "Oh, yeah," just be loud. "He's a trader. He's a trader. You're a figure trader, and I'm gonna trust you. You being throwing my name down and saying you're a trader." Michael was going off and everything. He being loud, everybody could hear. So now everybody was in the kitchen at the time that was going on, but people could hear him. So they were trying to know what's the commotion about, what was happening, right? So banishment table, this is number 4. So this one I'm gonna break down and tell you about how I feel about things. Michael said Colton is a conniving, colluding, commiserating Colton. I said, first of all, one of the words is not a freaking word to use to describe a negative person or anything. Commiserate is to feel sorry for someone. So you keep saying that he's conniving, colluding. You cannot put those 2 words with commiserating. It doesn't make sense. So Michael said culture should be humble, because at the end of the day, I understand where Michael was coming from in some way, shape, or form. It's like culture was doing a lot, and he did with big bat baseball, big swing, bat against Tiffany, and failed because he realized that Tiffany was a freaking faithful, and he was coming hard. So yes, Coach, you had this personality. Your game strategy is to be very assertive and strong and aggressive like that in your approach. And it may not be great, but that's how you play in your game. So at the end of the day, if you go do that type of stuff, you just stand on it and realize your actions has consequences. And unfortunately, your action by rallying and getting Tiffany out was team too much. And also, at the same time, people that had to vote for Tiffany, they didn't want to vote for Tiffany, but they did. They did. So as Michael keep berating Colton, he said, "Nobody is better than keeping a secret than you." So people said, so Colton said, "There it is." So a lot of people was offended. He said, "Oh, what you mean? Like, what you say?" So then Colton said, "Well, 29 years. You did 29 years. I did like that was great for me. You did 29 years. I had the secret. I had to be happy." Now you saying, so you he kept saying the climbing, commiserating, this is this, could use that. And that's so they said, wait, so clarify what you meant by that, because people took an offense to it. So you basically saying that, oh, because he was closeted at this time, he's a great favor because he know how to be a secret. Because he kept a secret, so he should know how to play the good. He will be a great trader because he kept a secret for a while and he was good at it. And I was like, that comment itself could stem from homophobia, because you kind of like a dig towards someone who was gay and make it seem like, oh, because he was closeted, he know how to keep a secret. So he'd be great for this kind of game. Knowing that closet is a freaking a harmful word in a community for the gay people because they had to because of society pressures and norms and expectations. A lot of people had to stay in closet and forced to stay in it and not say nothing due to negative, harmful reaction they might get. So understand sometimes people may not be out open because of what they fear might happen to them. Fear might happen to them. But also at the same time, because of that, you don't get to mislead people and play with people and not be up and honest with people that you be with because you want to portray the straight image or the heterosexuality image or something like that. So when people come after you with a homophobic slur or a homophobic comment, it's saying that, oh, you closeted, so you know how to keep a secret. That's a dig to him being gay. Now, he may not be intended to offend Colton, but Colton took it that way. And other people in the room, like Jam and everything, who's kind of the same community, took it offensively. So he apologized if I offended anyone, but he said he didn't meant to that. He said he meant it as of how he played the game and strategy and not his sexuality. But I said it could be. And that's why I was like, Michael's statement is a homophobic statement. It doesn't make him right for saying that statement. And it could be a dig. But also, he was right in some of the ways about Colton being assertive. He should be humble because he came out so strong about Tiffany and they got it wrong. And why you still be so cocky and this and stuff and doing all this stuff like that. And you know, Colton was playing this kind of game like he just top notch person, and that he was getting all the traders out. And you only got one person out, y'all, and she didn't do a great job as a trader, so it wasn't much of an accomplishment. But he could call Michael could call Colton out and be right in his calling out, but also be wrong about the statement itself. And whether he intentionally meant it or not, it was offensive, and people got offended by it, not just Colton, other people. And he had to live with his statement. Well, he meant it that way. I believe he meant it in that kind of way, but he said he didn't. But at the end of the day, we know you know Colton's history and his past. So you were trying to use that as well. Oh, he could be a good trader because he could be secretive. And I said, now, Colton past and what he done with the ex and everything, unacceptable. Unacceptable. But we don't make that comment okay for people to say that to you because you don't like other person's actions and what they did. That person could still be that and still have had an offensive comment made towards him. And whether how you feel about how he was in the bachelor thing, that still stands. That's still valid. It's not taking away that. But at the same time, this comment it was made towards him was offensive. He took offense to it. It was a dig, and you have to understand that. Whether it's not your intention or not, if you say something that offenses to someone else, it's offensive. You can't tell them how they feel. Maybe you put 20 on 10 and say, oh, you put 29 years of me in class, and that's you make it happy. And that kind of escalated that. And they would say, oh my God, this person, like, what you really say? What? You really took that dig like that to him? So that's that. So Once again, people who do not watch the Bashers or know Colton, that would not know what he had done. We only go by the show. So based on the show, a comment towards him was homophobic, was offensive. If you don't want to call it homophobic, say it's offensive. But also does take away the fact that he was questioning and coming after Colton about his character or what he was doing in the game. But also says offensive line, and also could be right by Colton, but also Colton could be offensive. So I was like, at the end of the day, I cannot be in nobody's side, or I could be the side of this game and realize Michael has been problematic and being very chaotic in these roundtables, over talking, being loud, being aggressive, like he's doing a lot. So I think at that point, people were fed up. They were fed up and want him gone. So that's that. So now I said, listen, we're just gonna put your name down. You're doing too much. Even if you are faithful, we probably don't care what your status are, because you are doing a lot and we need to get you out of here because you're being loud, being offensive, you're doing too much. So votes came in. Ron got 5 votes. Michael have 11 votes, and at that. Michael said he meant it in the context of the game, not his sexuality. He apologized and whatnot. Now, Alan also teasing us. He said, listen, the Shields, you won't find out until tomorrow. I said, so after breakfast. So they had to wait. Now, we don't know. Now, we don't know. But we with that. So Colton asked Dorinda about Lisa. She said, is Lisa usually this quiet? Now he got his target as Lisa. Now he on the right path with this Lisa thing. Now he wasn't right on path with Tiffany or something. And Dorinda said, no, I'm surprised. No, she never liked that. She usually is not quiet. So it's like the Lisa, they said Lisa quietness. She not her usual self. So she flipped and got more reserved than usual. The Portia thing, she was a person that voted for Portia to get her out. And her antics in what she's doing at the breakfast table, being dramatic and a little over the top exaggeration. That's that. So Rob told Lisa and Candace that Colton is on to Lisa. And now they was like, you know what? We got to get Colton out. Now the Shield. People might think that Colton secretly took it. I said, unless he sneaked behind them and took it without them noticing, Colton was in the same group as Lisa and Candace and Mark. And I don't think Lisa and Candace will lie to Rob and saying that they didn't get a Shield, even though they got one. I believe they was all together and they was a group, and that they all decided not to. So I know we got a commercial. We could kind of we was cut off to know the actual if everybody take a seal because we need to be supplies and whatnot. But I believe if Coach would have took it, Lisa and Candace would have noticed because there was no holiday. So it's all the falling down. It falls down to Dorinda, Natalie, Johnny, and Michael's team, and see if any one of those people took it, the Shield. See if they took the Shield. But that was my review of Traitor Season 4 and 5. I know there's a lot of things going on. It's heavily, but I just want people to understand that please just watch, enjoy the show. Don't dig too deep into it. But at the same time, we can have conversation about the show, but not be too offensively easily talking to people who may have different opinions on you because you have preconceived notions. You going to people's comments, making your comments, be rude to them because of what? Let's just watch the show and have a good time and enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you got everything else. Also, put your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, and if anything I missed or anything you want me to further clarify on or discuss, put in the comment section, and I can look at it and respond back. All right. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace out. All right. Peace out, y'all. Hope you enjoy.